Hello everyone, welcome to our coverage of the fastest runs from today's Pro Stage here at round 2 of the EWS in Petzen-Jamnica. I'm Rick McLaughlin, joining me Josh Carlson. Josh, Ella Connolly, our winner from last time out in Scotland, third fastest on the stage today. What do you make of Ella's chances this weekend?
I think she's got a great chance to prove herself and really establish that speed she started the season with. She's had a fantastic result in Scotland, which is, trails she's used to, but the big mountains here in Petzen, they're rocky, they're rough, they're steep, and they're super physical. So for her to back up that result from Scotland and prove herself on this international stage, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, through this big off-camber open piece section. Now, put it in context, EWS Tweed Valley in Scotland, we had just over 20 minutes of racing. This one stage alone accounts for about 15 minutes worth. Ella making short work of this section before it heads back into the trees and gets steep. A tale of two halves, really, this stage. Very steep. You see this section, this big switchback turn through here, and then towards the bottom it flattens out just a bit and becomes harder work just when you don't need it.
Absolutely, flattens out but stays rough, so you've still got to get through the jank of the roots and the rocks. Like these bits, you watch how much these riders are moving. The physical demands of this track is just relentless from top to bottom.
One thing that strikes me as we're seeing in these images as well, there's nowhere to sit down, there's nowhere to rest on this stage. Other places we've had, big hit on the back wheel for Ella. Kept the bike moving forward well. Now into this final section, big crowds here all weekend. This final little bike park section towards the line. Dusty turns, have been baked in the sun all day. Not easy after that. Ella Connolly crossing the line then with a 15:41.54. Happy with that and well in contention for tomorrow.
Pretty savage, like it's so hard to know how to pace. I know. A 14-minute stage is like ridiculous. Like you're halfway in and that's the length of a normal stage, and by then like your arms are giving up, shoulders are giving up, so I don't know, I didn't feel very fast and I had a huge crash in the middle of the run, but yeah, starting as third, so I'm stoked with that, good start.
Second place today was Morgan Shar, a rider that you could have predicted would go well over a stage this size, over 1,000 vertical metres of descending. Small beer for a former UCI downhill world champion.
And the early section there, you can see that's the very start of the run. That's the first minute. So you look at all those rock steps that Morgan was charging through. That's the first minute of 15. So for her to hold that pace all the way to the bottom was a fantastic effort.
Yeah, Morgan riding for Pivot Factory Racing, of course. Let's see how she fared as we head towards those trees where it does steepen up again. This section actually covered in these big chunky marbles. I think you called them goolies earlier, which I think means something different in Australian compared to Ireland. And then straight into these trees, back into the steep.
More steep corners, steep and deep. Ghoulies for days, plenty of exposure, carrying great speed through this upper section here. It's really difficult to manage these steep turns. Look at the exposure on the side of the hill, literally on the edge of Austria as she rips back down through the forest.
Oh, and is that the rider in front? It is the rider in front, yeah. So Morgan pulling in the rider in front, always a good sign in Enduro, but it's not always an easy one to process.
No, it's definitely hard to process. When you catch the rider in front, you know you've made up 30 seconds, so you know you're riding well. So it's really hard to calm the farm and just relax and focus on what's in front of you when you get all excited and catching the rider. Plus, it's a stressful scenario. There's no room to overtake around here.
There you go, Ray Morrison with a crash earlier in her run. Morgan Shar over the line with a 15:34.
It's such a long run, and it's full on. You don't have any time to rest. So yeah, my arms were pumping so much from halfway down, and yeah, I tried to find some little section where I could take my fingers off the brake to rest a little, but yeah, it was hard but pretty clean run.
Here we go then, let's buckle up for this one. Isabel Corduriae, our fastest rider on course today, and with the fastest runs we can jump on board. The French national champ, she had a difficult season last year, but really looks like to be back on form now.
And look at the rocks. Look how deep these ruts are. We see on this onboard footage here. Now this section was treacherous for my race, and I'm sure it was for these athletes. These tracks are getting more and more destroyed as we go, and these riders are taking them on with speeds that are just outrageous to see.
Isabel making short work of that section there. We jump back on board of her again, and you could just see all those big chunky marbles. We first visited here back in 2018. This was all pristine dirt, but it really is now, I mean, really popular set of trails here, and that that traffic really began to show. But Isabel absolutely flying through this open section before we head back into the tree line in front of us and things start to get steep.
And look how dark some of these corners are. Now there's huge ghoulies, which means massive rocks and loose items everywhere in these dark sections of trail. So that's just on the open section. So imagine when she goes into these dark woods here, look how black some of that is. It is lights out. And for the eyes to adjust, to the riders to adapt, it is an exceptional talent for these riders to go through and have to manage these conditions and charge the entire way down for 15 minutes.
So Isabel put 10 seconds into the chasing pack today. Now the stage is over in Slovenia in Jamnica tomorrow. A lot shorter, maybe not as much time on them, but if she can consolidate that lead at the opening half of the day and then another one of these big monster Austrian stages to finish, she may well be in good place.
Absolutely, 10 seconds on a huge stage like this. Now I remember a couple of years ago, Isabel had a massive hugie off the edge of this cliff here and got caught in that bunting. So it's fantastic to see her back here this year and redeem herself, come out on top after the first stage, and to be honest, 10 seconds is not much. Oh,
there's
some more
a
carnage.
steep section there. She's caught, I'm not sure who that was there, but she's passed her anyway without being held up too much. This is now where it does flatten out, as I mentioned before, and you can see how widely it's taped. There's plenty of options in here, but keeping that bike moving over these rough stages, absolutely vital.
Absolutely, and it humps and it pumps and it barely flows its way down. This section here is super steep and gnarly. To get through this section, and remember, this is only halfway. So they hit all these rocks and all these turns in such important and crucial section, and they've still got 6 or 7 minutes to go after this.
How important is the mental side of what she's doing at the minute? Because to have that focus of holding on when your arms are screaming at you is so key.
It's so key. It's such a hard thing to focus for this entire run. And this final section of trail where she's coming through, it may be simple, but when your eyes are cross-eyed and your handlebars feel like you're holding onto toilet rolls, it's a nightmare to deal with.
Certainly how I felt and the rest during our course preview. But then Isabel across the line with a 15:24, our fastest rider today.
Quite a hard stage to start with. I think it was more than 50 minutes and like full on all the way, big holes, rocks everywhere. So I was just trying to rest where I could and try to kind of hold on the rest.
Here we are then, there are those pro women's results. Corduriae reigns supreme by nearly 10 seconds, but a lot of riding still to do tomorrow. Now in the pro men's race, it was a familiar trio out front with the race set out tantalisingly in front of us. Richie Rowe then third fastest on stage today with a 13:14, Josh, into the 13-minute region. Absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Extraordinary. The pace this fellow was coming down the hill and the way that he hits these corners, I feel sorry for the rocks out there in the Petzen-Mountain. He was absolutely slaying it out there, and you can see just the raw speed through these rocky, technical and rough sections. It was unbelievable to see.
Richie got a bit of redemption last time out at the EWS Tweed Valley. He took the win there at a race that cost him so dearly the previous year, and just watched him around the pits and having chatted to him, it's a very relaxed Richie Rowe, which if I was in the pro men's field, I'd probably count as being pretty ominous.
And I would definitely say Richie's one of the favourites here this weekend. He rides exceptionally well on these long stages. He's confident, he's happy, like you said, he's nice and relaxed. He's got Jared here in his corner with those Yeti boys. It's a comfortable scenario, and on these big, fast, wide open stages, it's hard to put past him being a favourite here.
Just absolutely monstering his way down these stages now. Richie, just a force to be reckoned with. And to be honest, a lot of people were saying pre-race that he was the favourite on a stage this length, but as we'll see, not the fastest today, but certainly right in the hunt for tomorrow.
Absolutely, and it'll fuel that fire. I think Richie, he come off such an exceptional result in Scotland, and to come here for the pro stage and to get pipped by a little bit by Jesse, it's going to light that fire come race day on Sunday.
These corners got an absolute beasting today, really broken up, really crumbly after 13 minutes of onslaught. Richie Rowe then crosses the line. 13:14, an exceptional time, but let's head back to the top now for Jack Maher. Now this is a big talking point. Disappointing EWS Tweed Valley, but the reigning champ looks to be back here at EWS Petzen-Jamnica.
Now he's had plenty of changes over these last couple of weeks. He has the fire well and truly lit after that first round. He's definitely come off a bit of a lackluster preparation coming into it due to the weather back home, having a shoulder reconstruction. But this result here, the way that he's riding, you cannot say that he's not fit enough and prepared on this physical 13-minute monster. You cannot just show up and be this fast.
There's definitely shades of 2021. I mean, we saw him and Richie locked together all that season, but all right, Jack didn't win this stage, but he was 2 seconds faster than Richie. Absolutely nothing over a stage this length. A lot of talk as well, Josh, about this bike he's on. A size small, believe it or not.
That's the chatter amongst the pits. I'm very keen to hear what Jack has to say about it. He's chasing some numbers off his championship-winning bike, and with the way that he was riding today, with what we can see on the screen here, he is riding that bike exceptionally well, and all that puzzling that he's done, he's already overtaken a rider during the run here, which is a feat in itself.
Oh! Why?
Through the trees. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, Reese Langhorn fancies a bit of that round the tree as well. So in he comes to the finish then. Jack Moyer with a 13:12.27. Oh, Jack is back. Plenty of racing tomorrow. Let's head to the top then. Our fastest rider on course today, Jesse Melamed. Big ride from Jesse. He said at the bottom of this one that it felt slow. As you're about to see, it was 100% anything but.
Absolutely. I'm sure he was hungry for this after getting that second place with a hard-fought battle to Richie in Scotland.
Look.
Coming here, he is frothing for it, and you can see with the way he's riding, aggressive lines, not scared, apparently taking it slow at the top, but from what we can see, that's not taking it slow at all.
Well, that's an interesting point. Jack Moyer actually was the fastest rider through the bottom sector of this course. Really pulled some time back, but Jesse, I mean, this to me looks like Melamed whenever he is up to race winning pace, which is actually just a couple of clicks back from maximum attack, but just neat and tidy, strong on the bike, carrying that speed. Look at the speed of him, Josh.
Absolutely. He's made some huge improvements. Whoa! Through that tight little section. Yeah, I bet you he's kept his short bars on from Scotland to get through there. But he's made some huge improvements over the years, and to see him step up to become this world-class rider and championship contender that he is, with a performance like this, it's fantastic to see. Slight little mistake, but he held it together.
It's early in the year. It's very, very early in the year, but Jesse on this form, this is really the 2020 Melamed when he had that brace of wins in a very COVID-affected season, but absolutely just on the gas the whole way down. It's into this steep left.
Literally taking the wind out of him with how hard he's hitting these rocks. Now look at all those pink rocks. They are actually helpful with how dark this was. Oof. And as he gets down further, it's like a rodeo. Hold on to it, Jesse. Come on, son. This bit's sketchy. On the edge of the tyres, edge of grip, edge of calm and chaos. Love to see it.
He said at the bottom of this it fell slow, as I say, and how you can look at this and think that it felt slow, I don't know. I think he's on a different planet, but...
Well, you've got to meter a pace like this, and I think his metering was perfect. If you feel like it's slow at the top, it's perfect, because by the time you're fatigued, by the time your hands are pumped up like Popeye, you're probably going the right pace, and he's metered it perfectly on today's pro stage.
I think he probably watched our course preview down here, didn't he? There's some similar lines in there.
Yeah, didn't take that one, but...
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
Go on, Jesse. Look at the pace coming through here. Now, this is actually an uphill. Not that you can tell, but he hits it doing 1,000. These sections are key to a stage like this. They really zap a lot of your momentum. That is the forks bottoming completely out, ripping through the lawn. Loves the Lawmer.
No, he was second on the pro stage in UBS Tweed Valley behind.
Go on, Jesse.
Using every inch of trail there, and
look where he's riding. It's not even the main line. Oh, it's fantastic to see the speed and the aggression.
Second behind
halfway here
on that pro stage in Scotland, but really with riding like this, it's all Melamed. It's one-way traffic.
It's one-way traffic, and he's making it happen. And there is no easy way to get this. If you want it, you got to go out and take it. And against a rider like Richie Rowe or Jack Moyer, man, if you want to make this happen, this is the stage to do it. And
psychologically, Josh, getting the win on this first stage, what does that do for him tomorrow?
Oh, clutch. It's a clutch maneuver. There is a mad battle happening between Jesse and Richie, and we saw it in Scotland. It was so tight. There's nothing between these two. And to come out and take first blood this weekend on a big weekend of racing, we got a lot of racing to do tomorrow. This is a huge feather in his cap of confidence, and as much as it's going to light a fire under Richie, it's going to prove that Jesse can do it. So he's already taken that win, so he can do it again.
It is. You watch this and you think of Richie Rowe also watching this and how he's going to be fired up for tomorrow. Over onto that bank and then into this compression.
Doesn't even hit the braking bump, straight over the top of it. This is fantastic footage, and it's great to have this insight into what they're seeing out on the course. Practically hucks it to flat.
Very kindly sharing his footage with us, and into this now. There's a left coming up here that was just claiming bodies all throughout the session, crumbling fast, bang, there you go.
Oh, look at it, on the edge, ripping all the way to the finish line.
Pushing a gear all the way to the line.
That's what it takes.
Jesse Melamed then home and hose in a 13:03.59. Absolutely class performance from Melamed, and one that puts him in pole position for tomorrow. As you can see here, just 8.68 ahead of Maher. Rude 10 seconds behind him, then you're into Menzies. Great result there, 17 back as well. Plenty more racing to come tomorrow. Big day on the stages here from EWS Petzen-Jamnica. Don't forget to check back in with us tomorrow evening, where we will bring you the full race highlights as quickly as we can on Enduro World Series and on GMBN. Thanks for watching.